Game: Octopath Traveler. Character: Cyrus. Location: the Royal Academy Library. Wisdom. What is wisdom for? As a professor, scholar, and teacher of those who would gather knowledge like the bee gathers honey, knowledge and wisdom are my profession. As someone who spends a great deal of time in libraries, learning all he can about the art of magic, the magic of art, and the history of nations, the question rises as routinely as the sun. Why? Of what use is knowledge when poverty, famine, corruption, and crime seem so commonplace within Osteria? Perhaps the best way to settle this question is not to bury our concepts within the dusty tomes of articles, but to divulge and relate to my own experience. An academic may appear to be what he is in writing. In reality, his mind manifests through action. Therein lies what eludes, and with your permission, I will indulge you. Before setting out into the world, I fancied myself as a guardian of the world's wisdom. There was scarcely a subject in all the world I couldn't reference at a moment's inclination. Every question that came my way either had to be answered in script or formulated by my own hand. My knowledge grew so vast and wide that I mastered control over the three elements: fire, thunder, and ice. I could conjure and manipulate the very atomic energies and fabrics of the physical and spiritual realms. The knowledge of the universe beckoned to my command. Eventually, for reasons I shan't explain, I had to leave the confines of my scholarly empire contained in these walls. Suffice it to say, a certain tome had gone missing, containing magics of a particularly sinister nature. More than this, I am not at liberty to divulge. I was not alone on my journey. The first person to accompany me was Primrose. She was a dancer by profession, and on the circumstances that we came to an inn, the tipplers would instantly note her presence, and requests piled on us for a public exhibition. It was then that I learned of a spell that no tome or compound concoction in a lab could ever hope to summon. The power to mesmerize and hypnotize an entire room of common folk. If I were to take the stage and attempt to provoke such desire and appetite in this crowd of oglers, with my lectures, spells, and historical insights, I would no doubt clear the inn and do the place out of business. That was the first lesson. There are limits to what my wisdom can achieve. The next person to join us on the road was a hunter from Swaki, a highly esteemed village of warriors. Her name was Harnett. As we ventured through the woodlands, this woman with her bow shot an arrow towards the sky. The projectile disappeared into the branches, rustled some leaves, and fell silent. The whole forest was aghast. Dumbstruck, none of us said a word, concerned that we had joined parties with a questionable soul. Away down, we saw the bird that became our supper, and further, the arrow that had struck it. Even with the powers of fire, thunder, and ice in my hands, I could not strike down that which my eyes couldn't see. To pile on to my amazement, I discovered that Harnett was able to capture, tame, and converse with wild beasts. Some so fearsome they would strike terror into the bravest gladiators to enter the arena. At her word, these brutes would dispatch of any foes or ruffians that crossed our path. That was the second lesson. There are pieces of wisdom that I could never know. To cut a long story short, I met along my travels many strange and wondrous persons with skills and expertise that made my monolithic wealth of knowledge seem domestic and humble. The final lesson I will end with this. It is not wisdom's purpose that we scholars should dwell on. The function of wisdom is the heart of it. These miraculous skills and professions do not find their only homes within the dusty shelves and tomes of this royal library. There is wisdom, bounteous and plentiful, within every person that lives and bears witness to this world of opportunity. Certainly, some people have greater skill and wisdom than others, and every person plays the fool more than they would care to admit. But no human alive is a solitary testament to all that wisdom and knowledge has to offer. Only together, with our experiences and histories unique in each individual, can the true value of knowledge and wisdom find the most fertile soils. This is how mighty kingdoms were built, and how my library was made. With that in mind, I can now see beyond the books that adorn my shelves, and see the names inscribed on the binding.